This is my 2002 Mazda Miata, and I want to go over everything wrong with it and everything that I've fixed so far. I bought this Miata for $4,200, and it has 49,000 miles when I bought it. It currently has 152,000 miles. So I put some miles on it because I took it all the way up to North Carolina, took it on Tail the Dragon, and that was loads of fun, and I had to do a lot of prep for that. But that's not what this video is about. It's about what is wrong with it. We have mechanical issues out front, and we have some issues in the back, and a few small issues inside the interior. So let's go ahead and start on the hood. Well, let's start in the engine bay. So I bought it with about 149,000 miles, 150,000 miles, and it is a rebuilt title. So the previous owner didn't have any records if the timing belt was replaced. So that's one big issue. And on top of that, this coolant reservoir kept getting empty. So I knew I had a small leak of coolant somewhere. So I recently just did a timing belt and found out that underneath the pulley, there was a slight leak of coolant. But even if I didn't fix that, if I kept topping it off and keeping an eye on it, it would never get low. It is such a small leak, but a leak nevertheless. So the timing belt is replaced. It has a brand new Gates timing belt. However, when I did that timing belt, I made a mistake. Not a huge mistake, but a mistake. When I was removing this valve cover, I accidentally moved this bridge back here, the camshaft cap bridge. And now this gasket is leaking. So I need to redo the whole valve cover, remove it, and install a whole new seal. So no major issues in the front, to be honest. It's a super reliable car mechanically. When I first bought the car, it was hideous. It had a lot of paint defects. The headlights were very dull, so I refreshed them with Cerakote. I clay barred the entire car, then I put Cerakote on the car itself. And outside of just doing maintenance for the trip going up to North Carolina, I installed a white line sway bar in the front and back to increase its handling, which did wonders, really did. This is a rebuilt titled car because it did have a rear end collision in the past, which I'll talk about when I get to the back of the car. Now let's talk about the interior of the car before we get to the back. So I gotta be honest, there's no real issue in the interior besides this plastic dangling and falling, and its clips are just not clipping anymore for whatever reason. Put it back up, then it just is gonna fall as you drive the car. The passenger window switch is very intermittent, doesn't always work. And outside of that is pretty much it. I did do some upgrades inside of here though. I added a touchscreen Toto double din radio, as well as a dash cam, which also has an AI in it. And that's pretty much it. My wife detailed the interior, looks fantastic. The top is developing some mold, or has been developing mold around the edge here. I'm not really sure how to get rid of that. It's getting older. Hopefully it doesn't need to be replaced anytime soon. Let's check out the trunk of the car. So when it got rear-ended, all this was pushed inwards. I'll show you a photo right around here. But the person who fixed it, you can't see anything wrong in the inside of the trunk, even if you take this all out. But one noticeable thing is that these gaps are different on both sides. So a slight misgapping, which I could probably fix, not a big deal. You can see the paint line from where he painted the trunk to right here. Overall, that's a pretty top-notch repair. But if we get underneath the car, there's the white line sway bar I was talking about. If we take a look at the axle, it's kind of hard to see. Both of the axle seal that goes to the diff is leaking. And the last issue, which I think is a minor issue but could not be minor, is that whenever we're driving the car, it does make noise from the rear end, and it almost sounds like an exhaust rattle, but as I hit the exhaust, it doesn't make much noise. Like, it doesn't make the noise I'm hearing in the cabin of the car. So, slightly concerning, not sure about it. All the attachment points to the suspension of the car all looks pretty solid, so I'm not really sure what's causing that rattling noise as I drive. And outside of that, this car is pretty dang reliable. I just need to fix that oil leak up front before I'm able to drive it again. Which it is Miata, and you can't really find the part anywhere, so had to order off of eBay, and it'll be here pretty soon. And there'll be a video on replacing the axle seals in the near future. Everything I mentioned on all these different repairs and upgrades will be linked down below for your convenience. If you want to see my wife and I take the Miata all the way up to North Carolina, check out this video. This is Chris. Always appreciate your respect for another. See you next time.